funny to think about how many of these tours I've done. Crazy. I used to be a tour guide in college for a university, a historian. No bullshit.
Never thought I'd be doing it here.
Yeah, it's crazy. I never thought I would actually be doing it for work, but okay. You guys know Profile's a race car parts company. That's what we started in '68. So that's the chassis that Jim started the company with. Not that one in particular, but that style chassis for basically a dirt track car, Northeast Modified. Why I'm showing you that, Chad, and I want to show you this later, that's the model that he made, that he welded to scale, quarter scale for an RC car. I'm going to show you that later. It's fucking insane. That tubing turned into crank tubing. Oh, wow. So basically, if you can see that bottom tube down there, it's milled, the end, that's exactly how a crank tube is milled for a pair of Profile race cranks, or DJs, or SS, or columns. That mill right there, straight ahead with that giant gold mill piece sticking out of it, to the right next to the computer, you go to the right of it, I'll point it out in a little bit. That's the same mill used to make that tubing that basically made our crank tubing up until about 10 years ago. So that's the same mill that was used, and that's an old mill from probably the 50s that was still used. So, a raccoon trap. We have a raccoon issue here. We capture the raccoons and take them down the road.
Do you guys make these traps here?
Is that aluminum or is that?
We actually just caught a mama and the baby, and it was brutal. I mean, we let them go, but it's crazy the damage those things did in here. This is an EDM machine. So basically, our EDM machine is our second newest machine, besides that, third newest machine, besides that in Eurotech. I'll show you guys in a second.
Electric dance music?
Yeah, very good, actually. It's a, this copper wire gets fed into this vat, and it basically burns parts out of steel. So, we have a, so this machine is making pawls. So that's a pawl for a cassette hub. That's going to be an elite pawl. So basically what that wire is doing is cutting these pawls out per piece. And what they do is they weld them, and they do 5 at a time instead of 1 at a time. Sometimes they do 10 at a time.
Wow.
And it's burning those out. And then you have to hand tap them out with a mallet and a tap.
This is a new machine,
Newer. It's our third newest machine.
Back there for a while.
No, this is our first EDM machine.
You were doing it on something else then, right?
We were getting it done locally.
Okay.
Yep, and then we started doing it ourselves. This is the most expensive part we make per piece, because there's nothing to it, but it's so expensive to make this because of the time. You got to work. Machine time is time, essentially. So
how many pieces does that one cube itself make?
Probably, well, we'd have to do the math on it. I'm not sure. A couple hundred. Okay. But this takes days to do. So this just runs for days. And it's barely moving on this thing.
Is this wire recycled? It goes back now?
It's not recycled now. It's fed out, and then we recycle it, but it's not
just
recycled.
one-time use. Oh my god.
This is our laser etching machine. So basically, post-production, we used to get done outside with paint, anodized, polished, and then it would get laser etched. So we bought this laser etching machine, which probably honestly paid for itself in like 5 months, because it saved us so much money doing it in-house. And I'll give you an example in a second monetarily. But in order to make this work, we had to make the parts to make our parts. So we had to make all the fixtures that the parts fit in. You'll see that's we did our trophies for the FL series. Okay. So that's where it feeds in, the laser etch, the sprocket, etc. So we had to do fixtures for every single part of the laser etch. Wow. These are CNC machines. So we had to make these parts for laser etch. Right? So, as an example, every laser etch piece you do, like say we're doing the sprocket, this is the trophy. This is $1 to get done post-production. This literally takes 5 seconds to do. So we were spending $1 per every single piece that we got laser etched, whether it be one letter or whether it be a whole sprocket. So basically, if you do the math, and I'm running through 200 hubs in an hour, we just saved $200.
Tell me this. Like, did you do that in Orlando at A&M?
We still use A&M.
Because when I do batches of the pegs, I can give them 50 pegs, 100 pegs, 200 pegs, one price.
Yes, always the same price.
Why?
I mean, we were doing thousands of pieces because that's where the problem is. So So this is the mill I was telling you about here. So this is the mill that made that tubing that has continued to make crank tubing. Now we do all the milling down at the other shop. No, sorry, we don't do milling at the other shop. We do the milling here in one of the CNC machines, which I'll show you guys. So this is just stuff. So here's stuff.
Customer's air conditioner is. I can't get a reading.
Putting pressure on the driver.
I'll get to that when we get to the machine shop. So we'll go into the machine shop next. This is where all the product comes from the machine shop. So when product comes out of the machine shop, it goes onto the shelves here, and then we pull it as we need it. So basically, if you come on back, these are all the different hub shelves that we do. Mountain bikes, minis, elites. Wow. Seat post clamps, bottom brackets. I love telling people this because they never believe it, but American bottom brackets are still the best-selling bottom bracket that we do.
Really?
It's insane because no one makes them. So basically,
shop,
yeah, every shop that we sell to buys Americans because every kid has an American. You know, someone has an American bottom bracket.
Yeah.
So chain tensioners, all the cones. The cones here, that steering gear I just showed you guys, that's where the design came from. That's literally the cone off the steering gear, minimized,
So that's,
probably a tenth of a scale.
That's crazy.
Push stems, mark stem, the mass Madeira stem. Actually, this is pretty cool. You know, Odyssey came out with that really high stem.
Yes.
We did one like 3 years ago that we never used.
Really?
So yeah, we're thinking about actually testing them again because we thought no one would be into it. But now with everyone's bars getting
What's the
huge,
rise on that? 48 or 50?
I don't know. I'd have to check. But the problem is that with everyone's bars getting bigger, everyone's bars are breaking. So the solution, honestly, is to get a bigger stem instead
smaller
of getting bigger
bars.
Yeah.
Let me know if you need a test dummy that's heavy.
You know what?
shit up.
Actually, I might.
Leverage.
Serious, I ride
Remind
the
me
shit
about
out of
that.
my bike. And I
Remind me
like
about
high
that.
rise.
That's why 160 cranks don't break.
That's true, and that's where we're just telling us about that. These are the quill stems, so that's the mid-school quill stem. Still,
So good.
so many people want them because mid-school bikes. You know?
Dude, I'm starting to see some stuff. It just reminds me of being a kid. I remember my mom spent the whole paycheck on profile.
That's awesome.
I was so stoked. She bought me one peg.
You guys,
SS peg.
you guys
Steel
don't
one.
make the
Yeah.
rims, do you? You guys don't make the rims.
No, it's Sun. We carry Sun.
I had
This is
brown
basically
line.
each crank arm goes through about 12 hands to get to this point.
Wow.
This is ground down, ready to roll. So after this, it goes to the heat treater, which is right here. To get that black frass on them. From there, they go to those bead blasting machines down there. And then after the bead blaster, they either go to Tennessee to get chromed, or they go to our painter in Tampa. So basically, by the end of a crank arm getting done, it's going to touch about 14 to 15 people's hands before it actually comes back here and gets boxed by someone else. Because you have to broach it, you have to clean it, you have to box it. So there's probably 18 people that touch a crank arm before it goes out.
So good.
The crazy thing is that with crank retail pricing, the issue we've always had is trying to keep down our crank pricing at a affordable price within BMX, because realistically these are so expensive and time consuming to make. So the problem is that as the cost of material goes up, retail pricing hasn't increased, so that's always something we fight with.
Clear coat that.
You could, but it's Jim won't do it because it looks like shit.
Right.
So you could.
Hey, I was just thinking like. No, come on, look like that. You guys don't. It has to go through like a polish and everything.
Well,
for
here's
this,
the
right?
interesting thing though. If you were to, are you talking straight polish or
Just
anodized?
straight, leave it like this and put it on my bike. And then,
Well, that's what high polished is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this
but-
this is actually high polished already.
Yes, but no, that's fresh out of the machine. We would high polish that on the wheel, but that's a
raw
six.
material.
Yeah,
That's what I
exactly.
mean. If you just left everything,
But it would tarnish after a while.
it's like a billet wheel.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would tarnish. So that's
wheels.
60-61 aluminum. 70-75 aluminum, you can't do that because it tarnishes within weeks.
Okay.
So we have to clear coat it, but the problem with clear coating it is that it dulls the sheen. Crank arms are all stock. They come back, they get broached on the wheel. So an interesting little tidbit over there too on that wheel that looks like a ship wheel. Here, let me show you this broach. This is actually
Gold? Ooh, big money. Big money.
Really?
So this broach here, each crank arm that comes back, you have to hand broach it. So you have to grab
Really?
this, you have to put it, on the wheel, and you have to press this through. This clears all the burrs out of a crank arm that allows it to go on a little bit smoother.
Oh, because it
But,
gets all caught in that.
So every single arm
Every
is
single
hand
arm
broached.
is hand broached, yeah. In post-production. This tap is so expensive, man.
what
It's
kind of
insane.
steel is that? To be able to
Crazy
go
hard
through.
steel. I don't know what the specs are on it, but it's like you couldn't. I don't know how you would even mess that
Put a
thing
little
up.
Madeira
That's why,
logo on it.
that's why you got so much leverage going down on
Yeah.
that.
They look like big Madeira logos. Big gross.
All right, the most uninteresting part of the tour is my favorite part, which
Hell
is
yeah.
this.
The dumpster?
The dumpster.
The metal scratch?
So, something that I've learned, and I feel bad if I'm repeating myself, but it's really interesting to me, is that this is all the material that we got coming in. So we've got aluminum on this shelf, we've got steel, titanium on that shelf. Now, when Jim moved down here in the 70s from New Jersey, they didn't really do it strategically, they did it because the weather's better. So they're like, fuck it, let's move to Kinky. So they showed up, not realizing that this is a huge port town. So basically, as we get material in, we don't have to stock it. So
Yeah.
basically, we just call it in per day when we need it. So there's not a huge overhead on material because it's right down the road. So we get it as we need it. What I was mentioning there earlier too is that all the material is recycled. So the aluminum, the titanium, the steel, and the coolant actually from the machines is all recycled. Wow. The awesome thing about the material recycling, and this is completely happenstance as well, the dude that recycles the material is literally across the street. So what Jim does is that he waits for the price to get to peak, and he calls up John, dude, come pick it up. Dude comes over with a forklift, takes it away. Pretty awesome.
That's sick.
Doesn't have to get a forklift.
This is it's the saw that cuts material essentially. So as the material comes in, it gets parted off here with machines. So you see some bar stock here. This is probably for, I think that's 4 cups if I'm not mistaken. The unfortunate thing about bar stock is that there's not a lot of variations in the width.
Right.
So we have to sometimes buy larger material for smaller pieces, etc., etc. So sometimes things are more costly because we can't get material that is of that close diameter, because obviously the more stuff you have to recycle, you're just wasting material, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is that top of the steering gear that the cone came after on it. Ryan, that 22 mil cone, I think you brought the columns.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
where the design came from. So that's the top of the steering gear.
That's crazy. It's so crazy how everything is originated from a vehicle.
The sprocket's here. So that's going to turn into a sprocket. So we get those blanks. That just knocks out an extra process for us. Instead of cutting it ourselves, we just get the plates in.
How many sprockets?
That's one sprocket.
Oh, really?
As a anodized red 25 tooth Sigma. One and done.
Those are going to be, that sizing is probably for 39 through 44.
Yeah.
So we get them bigger for bigger sizes. They're
do
doing, these are steel, 19 mil axles right there. That's steel going out. So after those are done, they go out, they get heat treated, they come back, they get tapped, and then they get black oxided. So the spindles actually go through 4 processes.
Wow.
For ends here. So basically the ends of the material, they save them, and then once the bar goes through, they feed the ends back in and make one more out of the bar ends.
Cool. That's good.
Steel inner, these are mini axles. Steel, the 3/8 there. This is our newest machine.
That's a sick machine.
So we got this probably 3 months ago. Another really cool thing about this machine is that these fixtures Corey had to make these fixtures. So all these fixtures here are all handmade. Not handmade, but they're made on the machine. So again, the machine made the parts that we need to use to make the parts. So it's pretty awesome. And this does all kinds of crazy stuff.
These things are massive. I've never seen a real CNC machine.
Has.
He's doing push stems right now.
Yeah.
That's that, and then the blanks are over here. That's what a blank.
That's what starts life out as, huh?
That's the
Are they
first
like-
process.
Are they super heavy?
Yeah, pretty heavy.
That's pretty good.
It's aluminum too, so pretty wild. So our 22 mil tie column spindles there. So we're doing those. Actually, these are done, which is cool. So we need some of these.
That's a tie?
That's a tie 22
That's
mil.
super
yeah.
light, huh?
And the tie that we get is Russian grade tie. Unfortunately, Russia has the best titanium.
Love type.
60L4B, so it's aircraft grade. It's some of the most expensive tie you can get. You just want it. The problem with tie is that if you get recycled tie, it's just not a good grade, unfortunately. It's just, for some reason, the material it's got to be pure to work.
Yeah.
Essentially, so.
And the super white sparks.
Doing
I'll drag
sabers right
titanium
now.
off.
25 and 28 sabers going out of that machine there.
Oh, that's
So I was telling you earlier about the milling of the tubing
Right.
on the chassis. So this is the machine that does the milling on the tubes. So it looks like that before it's milled. and then the spindle boss and the pedal boss gets drilled
Oh,
out.
it's tapered.
Yep. It's called swedging. So basically, what happens? You feed this into this giant rotary swedge that's got two bearings that rotate.
Yeah.
And it basically squashes it into that form.
Yeah.
It's so loud. So loud. So and then it gets squashed this way. So
Does
it
the
gets,
swedging process happen in house?
it happens in the dungeon. Yeah, at the other building. So swedging and press braking gets done at the other building, and a lot of the welding is done down there too. It's literally a dungeon. It's so dark, and the ceilings are really low. It's pretty wild. They're column bosses, so the 22 mil Bantam and 22 mil column bosses are being made. So
Oh, okay.
done there.
Huh.
That's a boss for a column and a Bantam crank.
Crank balls.
That's a boss for the column grind. Also another part that's time consuming and expensive to make. You wouldn't think it is because it's such a simple part, but it's really time consuming. And then they get drilled, so that's the first process. Second process, it gets drilled for the welding holes to allow the pressure to get relieved.
Pepsi and that radio.
Yeah. There are 22 mil non-drive bottom bracket cones there. So this is Dave's Eurotech here. This only does hub shells. So right now it is doing
Mountain bike?
disc mountain bike hubs. So that's what it's doing. Dave, what's time on those? Are you running? This is Dave Fisher.
Brian. Pleasure to meet you. How's it going, Brian?
For about 6 minutes, right in that range.
Elbowing everybody for no reason.
And then after they're done, then there's a second process that gets done to the brake. So got that blank, and then it gets drilled out separately to get the scalloping done for the brake interface, and then the holes for it.
Is that one just dry?
Yeah, just popped out. So 6.5 minutes per hub. That's so good.
It's like one of those claw machines. I'm like, what? Yeah. Put a quarter into that.
Trying to look for Dave, where are the little shafts of the steering wheel go on? No? No, it's a smaller shaft. This is the top of a steering gear shaft. This part here is what a steering wheel goes on in a race car.
Wow.
That's a 48 spline spindle.
That's it.
So a 48 spline spindle came from that design.
That's crazy. When I watched that particular video, I was like, everything is originated from cars. Cars are life.
Yeah, so a lot of that stuff is into that. So this is Delrin. So this is the Delrin, which is a plastic that we do the Madeira C4 front and rear hub guards in. So it's one of the first things we've ever done on a plastic.
Yeah.
So
you gotta just mill it.
It's pretty abrasive to machine as well. It's pretty trying here.
Bring back mission.